final reader in the first open set is Carl Gordon. We're going to have some hard decisions to make when the break comes, but my guess is that probably we should continue here, because I think probably it's going to take quite a while to move all of the lighting and equipment upstairs. What do you say?
Just let people go outside, take a long enough break so that people can get outside, get some fresh air, and then when they come back, they won't come back.
Certainly a tribute to Juan that it's not even standing room only, you can't get in. Okay, so your MC for the next section will be Lynn Alsford, who also incidentally Juan named as his successor. I don't know if you want that to be known here now, but that's the truth. So we'll hear now from Carl Gordon, and then we'll go and stretch our legs and get some fresh air. Okay, thanks.
Do I have to take this thing up?
Sorry?
Can I do without this?
They don't have, they can't hear you.
It's not working anyway.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
Well, then don't use it.
Well, I'm going to read just two poems. The first is some sort of haiku. The other will be in Jamaican Creole, which was the opening poem for the meeting between Juan and myself. Jane Jordan was there at that time at the Blue Gardenia back in 1976, so we've known each other since then. And being both Caribbean persons, and he always insisted we were neighbors, Jamaica being just 90 miles from Cuba, and we both enjoyed speaking Spanish and being nostalgic about the days that we grew up in the Caribbean. So the first poem says, Juan, with your passing, we have another reason to look heavenward. Juan, with your passing, we have another reason to look heavenward. And then this other poem, it's called Mango Vendor, and I think everyone in Canada now knows what mangoes are. And in the Caribbean and good part of Latin America, we have these hawkers or street vendors selling their wares, and it's usually quite dramatic. So here we go, Mango Vendor. Oh, hear me now, me depot spot. Fresh and green, nice and clean, me devout, don't cast me out. Me got a nice ripe mango, me got a juicy ripe mango. See me sweet black mango, could the common, how she airy. Boo-noo-noo-noos, not a fairy. Who ready for try me mango? The true plummy them sweet, but eerie with tie up your teeth. Certain time no make for rub down is sweeter when it drop on ground. Young gal come quick tap squeeze up me mango. Me no want rude boy come think say a jonjo. Yeah, me now, me dip on spot, ripe and spry, take a try. Man pon street, don't miss the treat. Me say, go burn up mad. Them say, St. Julie bad. Then, sickle, say a beefy. Grab a licious up the yummy. Mr. Brethren, could the kidney like a girl child, sweet and fancy? You ready to buy me mango? Hear me now! A rolling on, hot and dry. Hush, don't cry. One and me, the rest not free. Me got donkey scratch, number that just hot. Nice and sweet, East Indian, Me left you now, you out of luck. By quick, young boy, Babylon strike. Manga! Thank you.
Pakistan, so I won't be able to come to the gathering today to commemorate and celebrate Juan. I spoke to Heather Ferguson last night, who said emails are being sent in and some will be read. Whether mine is read or not, I do want it at the very least to be among those sent, and so on and so forth. And this is what he has to say. Please accept my sincere regrets for not being there among you to celebrate the life of Juan O'Neill. I am leaving for Pakistan for a month. That was today. When I learned yesterday of Juan's death, I was shocked and saddened. It took me several hours to absorb fully the realization of it. Oddly, this past week, I have thought of Juan several times. He had written a wonderfully evocative introduction to the Tree anthology last year, which brought back a flood of memories of the dedication of poets, such as the late Marty Floman, Juan himself, Marcus, Rob, and James, to name a few of the directors. These people have committed themselves to promote and nourish the poetry scene in Ottawa. I had intended to write to Juan and express my appreciation, but I was on a previous trip to Pakistan when the anthology came out, and James Moran's reply to me by sending Juan's email address. Something fell out there. After I returned, I fell into the routine of daily life and neglected to contact Juan. Last week I thought of him and resolved to do it. Now, sadly, it is too late. I first met Juan back in the early 1970s at one of the readings of another poet who has single-handedly done so much for Ottawa poets, Jane Jordan. That simple meeting led to much discussion and debate among a group of poets, Juan, Catherine Oakley, Rob Craig, also here I believe, Tim Dunn and myself, about what was lacking in the local scene. And so we founded Sparks, Ottawa's poetry magazine, perhaps inspired by Poetry Toronto. It was a labor of love for all of us. But back then, almost 30 years ago, can it really be that long ago?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
31.
31, okay, I stand corrected. We were all filled with poetic zeal and ideal. We were sure we would make our mark on the national poetry scene, putting Ottawa on the map. Some of that group have fallen away from poetry, turned to other forms of expression, or simply no longer inspired to metaphor. Others continue to struggle to capture and transfer that beauty, spoken by our interior voices, onto empty pages. Juan too had that struggle, but he went one long step further than the others did. He put his considerable energy and effort into nurturing poets, to finding spaces for beginners to test drive their first creative drafts, or for those who had sufficient quantity of poems to celebrate their latest publication. It was selfless of Juan to do this. He inspired so many of us with his unwavering dedication to ensuring we did not lose our way, as is all too easy, for the world does not burn with the same zeal for poetry as we, its practitioners, do. In writing this, so many fond memories of the 3 decades since I met Juan crowd in. Long evenings of fun, frolic, and drink at his house on Coburg Street. Heated conversation on street corners, camaraderie with well-known Canadian poets in the small and intimate locations he found to hold for their readings. It is ironic, or perhaps poetic, indeed, that Juan had such a huge and compassionate heart, and that, in the end, it was that very heart that would seize his life. I send my deepest sympathies to Ariel, Larry, and Hugo. Whenever I met Juan, the first thing he spoke to me about, after the poetry, was Ariel. Partially it was because Ariel and my own son Aaron are of the same age, and they shared many an evening as children played together while their fathers dedicated themselves to the business of poetry. But more importantly, it was because he was so damn proud of her and wanted nothing but the best for her. I can imagine he had the same pride and love for his new grandson. So, Juan, wherever your spirit is on this cold March day, I raise my voice to say out loud this too late thanks. Here's the email I should have sent last year. Adios, amigos. You have left us, but you have left behind a part of you, that considerate and considerable generosity, your legacy that will continue to encourage and develop the poetic community in Ottawa. I'm going to read 2 poems by Juan, not very long. Listening to My Garden, for Ariel O'Neill. By my window garden, I watch the half moon sink in the west. On a black page, a white rune tells of time's passing. My thoughts drift in a daze of might-have-beens as I wander the byways of ruined dream cities, each with its story, and mourn. Meanwhile, my young trees shout their glory. These I have nurtured from seeds, up from chaos. Now they challenge my night gloom, their leaves' bright gloss, of swords and spears, their fierce, silent battle cry summoning a trumpet call, clear and heart high. Can the allure of empires never possessed equal the touch of one newborn leaf's pure zest? By my window garden, long after moonset, I clasp dawn's pale grey hand, a picked-up gauntlet. And to end on a somewhat lighter tone, this poem is called Roots, and I believe it's been referred to a bit earlier. My roots, by way of the Atlantic, are the Caribbean and Ontario, are Irish, German, and Sephardic Jewish. Ah, lucky man, one says, a Jewish sense of intellectual rigor, a German sense of order and punctuality, and an Irish sense of humor. No, it's more like a Jewish sense of order and punctuality, an Irish sense of intellectual rigor, and a German sense of humor.
5 or 6 years. Like many of you, I feel like I've known him forever. He always encouraged people to share their thoughts, even if they're shy, and especially if they read for the first time. He told me that he loved hearing something new and something so out of the blue that I've done the last time I've seen him. He inspired many of us to write, not only poetry, but to think like a poet. He may be gone, but he had the chance to travel and see the wonders of the world. He had a chance to see the millennium. He had a chance to see Sasquatch grow with vitality and celebrate 20 years of fine poetry, musical talents. He had a chance to spend quality time with his daughter and meet his grandson, Hugo, and watch him grow. He had a chance to meet many people and share talents with each and every one of us and make special friends along the way. And that's just to name a few. But now he's up there. He's gone, and he no longer suffers. No more cold or influenza. He's playing cards with Manana Rosa. No more struggling to climb the stairs. He was dancing with Fred Astaire. No more worries about the cost Instead, he runs a marathon with Terry Fox.
He looks like a dinosaur, you know, with a big. He has a big chin, you know, and the hat. No, the one I'm talking about has like a towel or whatever.
I don't know.
And he's the best also. He's the fastest. He throws plates in the air.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to associate with that guy. What's the big gun phenomenon?
Eman,
He speaks French too. I could be fine.
Eman, be like this and I hope you're watching Apprentice.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Do you watch Apprentice? Because you learn a lot of things as kids. People are all filthy. And they just teach us how to be. How to behave.
I have a lot of ideas, but
That's a ballroom. Where's the orchard? What happens to Marty was
and that's shitty as
way
well.
of expressing himself.
Yeah, my mother.
You are
Real mountain. Yes, that's what I
I'm happily to be
I kind of
had no idea.
fewer people in the sense of population density, less bullshit, more nature.
The thing is, you're friendly looking person, I imagine.
I've already been pissing each other off again.
It's not that bad.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Anyhow, I don't
Hey,
How are you?
I'm pretty good, and you, sweetheart?
Good, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm. You're my sweetheart, you know.
Yes.
You know that it's an interesting documentary on Alan Watsky. He was a far more complex person than I thought he was.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you because I made that little joke about you should finish because you're Finnish. I wanted to tell you that in Italian there's an expression that's a Jew. You know what a Jew is in Italian?
Oh,
Yeah, it means below.
below?
Yeah, it means when you say a Jew. No, it's not that they're saying. It just happens to be. It's like we were discussing before that different things in different languages mean different sounds in different languages mean different things. In that case, it just happens to be that it means below. It's just that sound means below. There's nothing intentional in it.
No.
No, not at all.
Do you know, I was a Jew
Were you?
and I was with Rudy. We lived in the Middle Ages somewhere in the Eastern Europe.
Oh,
And we had
and Rudy
two
too?
lovely girls.
Rudy too was a
Yeah,
Jew, really?
was a Jew.
Oh, wow.
And we couldn't go outside because they were prosecuting Jews.
Oh,
So we were
that's interesting.
kind of forced to be out inside.
Inside, okay.
And we lived in a basement apartment of a building.
That's something. Wow.
And,
This was in which time period was it?
he said about 1700.
1700.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something. Wow.
And we had lovely girls, curly-haired blondes.
Oh, interesting. Very beautiful. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed that you and Rudy had children together in a past life.
Yes, so we have some loyalties to each other.
There was no reference to me anywhere in your life, in a past life, no? You
no.
didn't meet up with any Irish pirates, perchance, no?
You know what? In church they said, and in few weeks you will have an old friend coming to see you.
Oh, you're kidding.
And
That's something.
of course it was you.
Well, and that's something.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. So they seem to be effective, eh? These people, they seem to be quite effective.
Yes. So
Well,
that's enough now.
that's enough now. You're going, eh?
Yes.
All right. That's enough now, ladies and gentlemen. Now you should. Now, why don't you do it to me? Why don't you take a picture of me and then ask? You see how there's an arrow going
Yeah.
continuously? That means it's running.
Yeah.
But if you press,
So
can you see me?
yes, I can see you.
All right. I want to make a few points here. Man believes that he is born of woman. I believe that man is born of a seashell. That's my firm belief from what I have picked up over the many, many years that I've studied the issue. Okay, go ahead, ask me questions.
And do you know anything about your past lives?
About what?
Your past lives.
My past life.
Like,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm a bit ashamed to say that I was told that one time I was a knight in England
Uh-huh.
and that I had abused women to some extent.
Okay.
Let's put it in those words. Let's
Yeah.
put it in those words, yes.
Uh-huh.
And that's the only thing I can remember what I was told to me. I do have it on tape somewhere, and I should listen to it again, but there were things told to me about my past lives. That's the only thing I can recall. I was very ashamed to hear it. But,
Well,
well,
maybe
so
that time, maybe you loved women.
I love women, yes,
Yes,
exactly.
you do now.
They didn't understand. They didn't understand what I was trying to convey, you know.
Yes.
And I still do. And I still do, in fact. As a matter of fact.
Yeah. So,
That's why I'm here, because I love women and I love you.
yeah, I love you too.
Good. I like to hear that.
Yeah. What else?
What else? What else do you want to hear about me?
I don't know.
Well, I was just thinking that although I live in a very beautiful place now, that yes, indeed.
My little arch.
Yes, indeed, your little arch.
And yeah, come and see my bird feeder.
I will indeed.
This is something that I have had for years now.
Yes,
It's
let's
also
have a closer
feeder,
look at it.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But squirrels come on it.
Oh, squirrels, okay.
And
That's where you
birds,
put
all
it.
kinds of birds.
What kind of bird? What kind of feed is
I
it?
had a couple of mourning doves on it a few days ago when you were here. And I came to the window and they flew, of course. But they were so sweet. And then they went onto that trellis to sit there for a while before they flew away.
Now take off your glasses so I can see your beautiful blue eyes.
Oh my God, you don't see them because it's too
Get
light.
close up.
It's too
Close
light.
up of your beautiful blue eyes.
Yeah. Yes, and this is my vine. This is my grapevine, and I have to get it off the ground soon because I have lots of flowers coming up.
Oh,
The spring flowers.
Oh wow, that's great. Yeah.
Underneath, so I have to get going.
It's a lot of work, eh? My
I have to
God, to
go
get all
today.
that done. Yeah.
To my okay.
That's really
So that's
interesting.
it.
That's great.
So that's enough. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very nice. Thank you very much. This is the back. We're going to show the back here too. The back and the front. We're following Maya.
Yes.
We're following her down the
You're
lane.
following me.
We're following
Okay.
her.
Let's go in. Turn it off.
Oops, oops.
You still coming?
Very nice, very nice.
Is it-
Say hello. Just say goodbye to me now.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Stay close by.
Hmm? Yeah.
Oh, there's others after you?
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, if you get.
And then I'm gonna come and join you.
Yes, why not?
And there's gonna be a joining
Come
joining me of two people. And there's gonna be some noise in this video
that
for a moment.
little piece of up there.
Oh yeah, oh wow, look at yes, look at the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, neato.
Yes. And where we go there? Let's go there.
Yes,
Well,
let's
we
do
can
that.
take from there too.
Let's do that, Maya.
Maya. Oh, look at that. These are pussy willows. So we can find them somewhere.
Field
He's the
of pussy
guy.
willows.
Easter
A field
week,
of
it's
pussy
Palm
willows.
Sunday. This is what the minister said, that because in Finland we don't have palms, these became our palms of the Easter.
Ah, isn't that a good idea?
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still ice.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right.
Oh, that's nice.
He's an interesting guy, Michel. There's somebody you could, to talk to. I mean,
Yes,
sexually, I don't know how he would
Yeah.
be, but I'm not even. But he's a nice fellow to talk to. You could get a,
Yeah, he is nice.
And he said he likes Finland and all that. So there you go. That's another friend for you, Maya. I'm going to set him up with you now. I'm going to go move into... Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, wow, it's beautiful.
Now, can you put that one away?
Wow, look at that. Beautiful. Birch tree. Okay.
And,
I remember Juan was very upset about it when he told me about it.
Oh, me too. I was upset because it seemed like they still think that it was the person who knew her.
Knew her, yeah.
And
are in Proctor, and this is Main Street in Proctor. You turn around, there's the general stores in that direction, and if you make a left, you get to the Storytelling Festival, where I heard a story about a Canadian Air Force man during World War II, a story about a local regional politician from the 1910s to the 1960s, and a story about how a local or regional Indian chieftain got his nickname of dragging grizzly. And there are the mountains there, and that's it. These are the mountains just outside of Proctor. Gorgeous, in a pasture just in front. In the distance is the ferry approaching the dock on the other side of the Kootenay Lake. Actually, the Kootenay Lake, west arm of the Kootenay Lake. Eventually going into Nelson, but we're at Proctor here on the Kootenay Lake, and the ferry will be coming back to pick up the cars here on this side. We're on a ferry going from Proctor back to Highway 3A. It's a pretty swift ferry.
We were discussing details about the Jane Jordan contest, which just then was stopping under our leadership. The tree was going through changes. And Juan continued to show up at the tree about once every couple of months. Certainly saw him several times a year here in the basement. And he was just a great leader. And I show up at Sasquatch once in a while to return the favor. In fact, the last time I saw him was at Sasquatch. About a month ago, my fiance was reading. Anita Dillman, she was reading. And it was really great to kind of check in and see how he was doing. And the last memory I have of Juan is when he was leaving, going up the stairs. I offered to help him up the stairs because he was having a bit of trouble. And I was at the top of the stairs and he was coming up, and I said, "You need some help." He just kind of waved to me, and I said, "No, I need help." So I think I speak for all the people that have been at Tree in the past few years. We've lost a great leader in the literary community. So here's to Juan. Thanks for letting me speak.
Gherkin, the editor of Yggdrasil, who, well, I'll just read what he wrote. This is dated March 19th. Hi, Heather. I've also added this material to Juan's guest book at the Ottawa Citizen site. That's the obituary, had a guest book. I only met Juan twice, once in the spring of 2003, when Heather Ferguson introduced us, along with Sarah Jane Jordan. What followed was a lively discussion of poetry past and present. Juan that day was a formidable presence, even with his Dalai Lama look. As he would tell me at our second meeting, he had shaved his head. A photo is available at the Yggdrasil website. I have some cards around somewhere, but I'll try and locate them. The second meeting was 12 March 2006, just 3 days before Juan died. I went to Sasquatch at the Royal Oak on Laurier East to introduce myself to Seymour Maine, because he's going to be giving a talk this week to Seymour students. But as soon as I arrived, I was made to feel warmly at home by the poets and participants gathered there, and especially Juan, who had now grown hair and beard. I was amazed at his knowledge of my literary journal, Yggdrasil, and he immediately persuaded me to give a talk about the magazine, interjecting with positive and conclusive questions about Yggdrasil's history and readership, which is reputedly quite immense. Juan has been an obelisk in the Ottawa literary community for decades. His passing will be a tear in the heart of that community. He will be sorely missed. I am sad not to have had time to know him better. Klaus Gherkin. No sooner had Klaus heard about Juan's passing than he dug into the Tree anthology, which I had published some years ago, and found the following poem, which is also on display with the photograph that I mentioned earlier. Excuse me. Red Orchid. Nature's wheel of fortune turned tonight to red. Turn to red orchid, flesh red, blood red, dripping red, in which I'll bury my past, my present, my future, my never, my always, wanting as I have never wanted, such a wanting that drives away all the et ceteras that pave the way to death. Terrible wheel, terrible fortune, terrible orchid. Copies of Juan's writing that I had on my computer. That's a long story, but I had them. Among them, the entire set of his translations of Machu Picchu, and we've heard from that already, so I won't read another selection from it. But this is what he had to say. I said, well, Juan should take a look. You see how it is. Klaus should have a look at this. Thanks, Heather. I'm beginning to think, after reading Machu Picchu, that it was fated that I attend Sasquatch last Sunday. I'm beginning to think it wasn't so much to meet Seymour, but to meet Juan before his final rest. Maybe Yggdrasil has a part to play in this, let's get his poetry and translations out to the rest of the world. That's no idle threat. Yggdrasil is read literally around the world, and it's been very hard to get an exact number as to the readers, but we think it's in the thousands per month. And he also later, well, I guess I've got my order mixed up a little bit. Do you want to open the door? I should perhaps have read this a bit earlier, but in any event, it's worth hearing, because this is Juan's, I guess, later reaction to Juan's translation of the Heights of Machu Picchu. And Juan never published this? This puts him in a league all to himself, miles above other Neruda translators. Even Clayton Escherman and Maria Giacchetti, neither of them translate with this much power. I'm ready to dump the April issue for this. Okay. So what this means is that if Ariel is in agreement, although I know that I'm his literary executor, if she's in agreement, the April issue of Yggdrasil will in fact be Juan's translation of the Heights of Machu Picchu, and Juan is no fool. He knows translation and world literature very, very well, and I can't think of a higher compliment than that. So if Ariel is in agreement, first it will be the Heights of Machu Picchu, and then little by little we'll put other of his work up on the site as well. Thank you.
And he not only got a couple of strangers a place to stay that evening, stranded, but became quite an interesting fellow immediately with his knowledge and letting me know how he was getting around the planet. I got home earlier than he did, although I got in. The present is unending. The mountains are bone and snow. They have been since the beginning. The wind was born an instant ago, ageless as light and dust. Mr. Round.
Play that in his honor today. I'm John Woodsworth, by the way. I'm a freelance translator and a research associate with the Slavic Research Group at the University of Ottawa.
Смешный саду, даже шаг.